You know, I didn't like card battlers originally. I really did not appreciate them at all. And fortunately, a friend of mine, who may or may not be a subscriber, I'm not sure, actually sort of talked me into trying a card based game that he liked. And unfortunately, I couldn't play it, it didn't work on my system. But it sort of puts into my head the idea to try some card battlers. And I tried them out, gave them a proper sort of second attempt, and I'm really enjoying them now. I'm really liking them a lot. And the one we're looking at today is Headkeeper, which is a card battler with a slight difference to make it stand out in the community. And it's not really a card battler as a domino battler, which I hadn't seen before, and I think is actually quite clever. It's quite enjoyable. I've already played through a run of this. I played it on Firefox, worked absolutely fine. We're in Chrome now, and it looks like it's working fine there. So let's jump in. I will show you the gameplay, and then we can talk about a little bit of critique afterwards. But I think this game's actually quite good. As I said before, just to say again, the name is Headkeeper, and there is a link in the description if you guys want to give it a go. It is just playing in your browser, so it's a couple of clicks away, and I do heartily recommend it. I like this game a lot, and I'm hoping it's continuing to be built on, because I would like to see it grow more, as I usually do with these games that I showcase on here. So right, let us hit the play button and jump in and see what this game will bring us. So, to run through the UI, at the very top left here is kind of our progression. As you can see, there's a number of skulls. These are all the monsters we are going to fight. On the middle left, this is us. This is our character, who has no head, as you can see at the moment, but we shall see what happens when we get there, how the heads come into play. We have 100 health. The bottom left is our tile bag. These are the tiles that we have. Bottom middle, these are the tiles that have been sort of played to us. And you can see they're actually dominoes with different colors. We'll go through the colors in a moment. And on the right, we have our discard bag, which is where the tiles that we have played go into. I'm not quite sure how the discards get shuffled back into our pack. It might be at the end of every turn. But it's interesting. It's an interesting mechanism. On the far right, we see our first monster that we're doing battle with. He has 40 health compared to our 100, but the monsters do eventually get a lot more health than us as we climb towards the end of the path. And this above the monster's head is the next move that the monster is going to take. I don't know how useful that is, but it is a nice kind of forewarning to help us shape our strategy. What he's going to do is he's going to attack us for a damage of 12. Top right, we have our settings page, which has the nice quality of life effects, and a give up button. And then we have the stage that we're on, which is stage 1, the amount of time that we have played for, and the end turn button when we are ready to end our turn. And now in the middle is our play space. As you can see, a domino has been placed in the middle, and for those who don't quite know how dominoes work, we can only place a domino that has a matching number to the existing number in the line. So I can only place a 2 on this side, or a domino with a 4 on this side. As you can see, there's some sort of power-ups on the page. Green power-ups are good for us, and red power-ups tend to be bad for us. So this green one will give us another tile from our bag. This green one will do 5 damage to the monster. If, however, we end up hitting these ones, we take 5 damage for each of these. But that might be quite useful, because I think that triggers thorns. We can actually get thorns in us, which will reflect damage. So that is a way of doing damage to the monster. And sometimes these negative tiles are tiles that we just want to play in, because the negative is kind of outweighed by the positive. Now we have a slight quandary here, because I don't really want to play this tile, because it's going to restore hit points to us. So each of the tiles has colors as well. The blue colors give us block, which means sort of damage absorption, shield, armor as it were. The green tiles normally give us health or weaken the enemy. And the red tiles just damage the enemy. So we want to play a 4. As I was saying, I want to play the 4 because I want my 4 block, but I don't really want to play it because I have full health, and that means that'll be wasted. We can just do 4 damage to him, And you also need to be careful as to what the sort of tile you place, because if I place a 4 tile here, I need to place a 4 tile to match that one, but the other end of the tile will have a 2, which means I need to have a 2 to place in the next tile along, as you will see as we go through it. I think I am going to actually play... I'm going to play the one with the block, just to give myself some block. And now I have to play a 2. And as you can see, I have a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. But my middle tile has both a 1 and a 3, so I'll be able to play that either way. But I want to be left with a 2 if possible. So I want to play the 2 and the 1. So I've done 3 damage to him. I then want to play the 1 and the 3, which will give me, I think, was that 4 block. And then that allows me to play the 3 and the 2, which then does some nice damage to him, which then allows me to play the 2 and the 4, so I can get that 4 played, 4 damage, and I can apply vulnerable, which is unfortunately right at the end of my queue here, so it's not going to do much because it just makes them take more damage. But nevertheless, we get to play the extra 4 damage. And when I played the 1 card that gave me the extra tile, it gave me this extra 2 and a 1, which is quite fortunate because I can just play this here. So I have 11 block. I have done a nice chunk of damage to the enemy. I've given him vulnerable. I think that remains there till the next turn unless he debuffs it or something like that. And yeah, so I have 11 block and he's going to do 12 damage. So I'm only going to take 1 damage from him. So that is actually a really nice successful turn. Let's end the turn. And whang, he whacks me. He got blocked 11, took my block away. Give me 1 damage, and that's left there. Right, so now we have a slightly more challenging route, because I want to get through to this draw bonus, and I want to play in that direction because it's quite easy, and I can't play in the other direction because I don't actually have a 4. So I definitely need to hope that that draw bonus actually gives me a 4. Okay, so let's start with loading up on some block. And then we can play the 3 and the 1. Should I actually load up on some block as well? And now I need to play the 1 and the 2 because I only have a 2 and a 1 on that side. So I don't want to get stuck without being able to play the 1 and the 3. I don't want to get that far because it's going to hit me for more damage. Well, let's see what the extra tile gives us. So we give ourselves a 2 and a 1. And it was just a 1 and a 3. Alright, well let's play... Oh, we can't. Let's play this one. We're going to have to take some damage here. Point of damage. For the 1 and the 3. And then let's play the 3 and the 1. At least we'll have 4 armor left for the next round. We've lost 2 health, but we have smacked the hell out of him. He's almost dead. Such a pity I didn't have a 4. That does trap you sometimes. The 4s are quite rare, quote unquote. So you can get stuck behind them, especially when the starting block gives you a 4. It's going to cut off the whole half of the board. It's unlucky, but it doesn't matter. He's going to do 12 damage to us. We will take 8 because of our 4 block, and that's fine. It's a pretty good end to the first round because I'm pretty sure we'll beat him in the next round. Right, he does that damage to us. We take a bit. And now, how can we beat him up? Well, if we can whack him for 5 damage going left. Alright, we can give ourselves some health back here. I think that's the best thing to do. We'll hit him for 5 damage, he'll win. We'll gain 2 more hit points back again for our next round and a bit of block. Yeah, that'll do. And we have whacked him. And now we have beaten the first boss, we get some rewards. And the rewards, I don't know if they're like a set sequence or they are randomized for each one, but they can be pretty good. So we get to choose a tile. This tile has corruption. We can apply corruption. Corruption is basically a damage over time, a dot on the enemy. which is quite nice. So we can apply corruption. Or we can get a tile that lets us draw another tile and does 2 damage. Or we can get a tile that weakens his damage and gives us corruption. Ooh, these are all very nice. I don't want the just plain corruption one, but I do like the weakening of the damage tile. And it's the 3 and a 2, which are good numbers. The 2 and the 1 is also a good number, and I like the idea of drawing another tile, because that can be useful in certain types of battles. Alright, let's take the extra tile draw. I think we'll go with that one. And now we have heads. There are a number of different heads, but we get given a choice of 3. And I think we get to choose heads 3 times during the fight. And our head doesn't get replaced. We end up with 3 heads. Alright, so what are the heads options? First one is a druid. When we restore health, so whenever we play a tile that restores health, we also gain 2 fury, which boosts our damage. So it adds bonus damage. But our max health is reduced by 20. This is a very nice head. So at the start of each turn, we just gain 5 block. I actually really like this head. I started with this one previously. It's a good one. And then this one, sort of every turn, the value changes. And if we play a tile with that value, we do some damage. That's quite nice. But I think the block one is probably the best option here. That's my belief anyway. So let's go with the construct. And we start our next battle. So now we have this lad. And we have our head, so we start with 5 block just at the beginning of the round. What does he have? Well, he's going to do 20 damage to us when he has his turn. That's a nasty chunk of damage for an early boss. He also has thorns. Oh no, that's fury. Sorry, my mistake. That's fury, not thorns. So that's why he's doing such a nice chunk of 20 damage, because it's been boosted by 10. And we do have new options on the board. For example, we have this that we want to choose that will remove 5 of his fury, so that'll actually drop the damage he does to us, so that's a nice one. But this one will give him 5 block, and this one will damage him for 5 damage but give us a debuff of weakness. Well, okay, first of all, let us work towards removing his fury. I think that's quite a valuable one. Let's draw our next tile and see what it gives to us. Alright, we can just whack him for some damage there. And now we can start working down this way, which is quite a nice sequence, because we can whack him for some damage there, and then we can grab some, we can give him some vulnerability and get our next card, which is just an armor card. But we can't even use that armor card unless we accept our point of weakness. You know, I think I might actually do that anyway. Let's get our health back. And now this is the only place we can use this. So what my reasoning is, yes, I will lose 25% damage, but we have already beaten him up. We are way ahead of him in health. It'll give us more block, so we'll just absorb his damage now that we've dropped his fury by 5. And we'll do another 5 damage to him with the green one. So it's a nasty sacrifice, but it's an acceptable one. Let's accept that. Right. So we do drop our damage a bit. I don't know if the weakness stays into the next turn. Let's find out. Oh no, it goes away next time. So yes, so that was more than worth it for our last job to do. Alright, so he whacked us, he took away our block, but our ability just gave it straight back to us. Right, okay, so now we want to get that and accept the weakness, but it'd be nice if we can accept that weakness at the end of our fight. So let's see what we would need to do. So we need to do a 1. So if we do the 1 and the 2, we can do the 2 and the 3, and that'll give us the extra armor for the end of the fight. So let's get there. So we do the 1 and the 2, and we get some block, and we whack them for the 2 and the 3. And we don't have a 4, so we can't go the other way anyway. Okay. Alright, so we have hit him quite hard. We Can't go this way because of the damn 4. I really need more tiles with 4 in them. But what we can do is just accept the loss of the damage. Oh, I wonder if this is going to give us... I should have gone with the 1 and the 2 because I'd been able to play this one. Alright, so let's put our armor on. We can accept the loss of damage for this. We can spend the 1 and the 2. I did not do this well at all, but it's fine. And we can spend this one to get another tile back. Oh, and there's our 4. We'll only be able to do half the damage. And apply vulnerable too late. We've already got some vulnerable on him. That's fine. Alright. That was a fairly shoddy turn, but it worked. It worked out. And we've done a big chunk of damage to him. Oh, he's just cast Fury on himself. Alright. So, we want to get rid of that Fury. We can only remove 5 of it. So let us... we want to go down that route anyway because we're going to give him armor and we're going to weaken ourselves if we go this way. So let's get as far down that route as we can, I think. So let's give ourselves that. Let's give ourselves that. We can give ourselves this over here. And then we can just whack him for some damage over here and over here. Wham wham. We've done well. We've done well. Alright, let's end the turn. At least max us, but he doesn't get through all our armor, so that's fine. Right. So we want to remove his Fury. Let's draw our next card and see what it does. Cha-ching. Let's give ourselves some armor. We can't go the other way because there's... It needs a 4. That's so annoying. Alright. Well, he's just going to buff himself. That'll probably be giving him his Fury back. I don't know if he gets to have 2 actions. So let's just max us out the amount of armor we're able to pick up this round. We're not going to give him block. We're just going to end the turn there, end the turn early. We're just going to sacrifice those tiles. That's fine. That's fine. We've had a fairly good, fairly neutral round there. Good. Now let's see what we have here. Okay, so he's buffed himself. He's going to hit us for 20 damage next time. We don't want that. Can we kill him before then? Quite possibly. We can also drop his Fury. So, alright, let's smack him. Let's armor ourselves up a bit. Let us armor ourselves up a bit more. We'll lay some vulnerable onto him and get an extra tile. Alright, and we can whack him. Wow, we're doing well, and we can armor ourselves up a bit. So that was a pretty good run. I'm happy with that. Very, very happy with that. Look how, I mean, we've got almost full health. We've got 16 armor, so we're just going to eat his attack, and he's only got 7 health left. I think we're smiling. This has been actually a pretty good game for us. Yeah, so we just eat his damage. I mean, it doesn't really matter which way we go now. I don't think he's going to survive our run here. Well, let's go this way. Let's eat this and this. We won. We won that round. Right, so now we get a new tile to add to our bag. Well, that's nice, because, I mean, we're stacking up a lot of block, especially with our head. So something that does damage equal to our block. This one will just max us out. Oh, I wish we could take both of these. That's quite nice, but that's sort of a fairly kind of late through the rounds ones, very situational. But this is good. I mean, we're already maxing out quite a bit of block. I wonder if we'll get this one again. That would be incredible as a combination. So right, we'll take that one. And now we can either remove 2 tiles from our deck. So I suppose you can use that to remove tiles that you don't want. Or you can just increase your max hit points. Let's just increase our max hit points. So we'll just be that little bit healthier, that little bit tougher. Right. So, what do we have? We have an enemy who is going to attack and apply a buff to itself. It's not nice, but that's fine. He has 15 block. So we do want to remove block, and that's what this one does. If you select that tile, then he removes all block. But he also has 2 thorns, so every time we damage him, he'll hit us. And he can add more thorns there. So we definitely want to go left. Fortunately, we do have a 4 tile. It sort of really sucked if we didn't have that. So let us give ourselves our 4 tile, and it brings our health back up to full. Now we can cast a 2 here. We can then cast the 1 here. That tile thing is a 1. And then we can cast another 2 here, do a chunk of damage to him. Unfortunately, I think our block ability is absorbing all the thorns. And now we can play down this way a little bit, just for the 3 steps. There, and we can really max out our block. We can get there, because we don't want that one because it gives us weak, even though if it's the last one that we play, it doesn't seem to matter much, but still. So we have slapped him around a bit. We are full of plenty of block, we are full of plenty of health, and we're going to get 5 block at the end of next round. So let's play that. He smacks us down to 8. Oh, okay, so that is one downside with this head, is it removes any of the block that we have and just resets it to 5 block. I didn't think about that. So that's not that great a hit. I mean, it is nice to have the block, but if you do have a lot of block, it's not nice to lose it all. But then a lot of enemies empty out our block anyway, so it's probably better than it looks at first glance. Anyway, so the first thing we want to do is we want to remove his block. It's a pity we're going to have to consume a damage. 1. Do we have another 2? Yeah, this one's actually pretty good because we can give him vulnerable, even though he has block, and it'll consume our 4 damage, but that doesn't matter. Oh wait, that was stupid. I'm an idiot that I didn't have another 4 for that. Alright, are we going to be able to get to this end here and maybe get another 4? Ah, this was silly. No. Oh, what a waste, and I can't even use that one. Ah, that was a silly round. I did not think about that. Those damn 4 tiles are really punishing. Alright, I'm just going to finish this battle, then I'm going to stop the gameplay part of this video because we've gone on for a while and I want to leave some for you guys to still discover. Alright, so we want to go here. We can get some block. We can get a bit more block. And we have removed his block. We can get some more health back and some armor and a new tile and smack him around. This is a nice combo. Smack, smack, smack. We don't really want to go that way, although we can. We've got a 4, so we're going to have to go that way. Again, I am not being sufficiently careful with the 4s. But let's go this way. Oh, and I wasn't careful there either. Alright, we can't play those. I should have played well, and then I would have hit these, and we don't want that. Still, we're still way ahead of him. I mean, he's going to do a tiny little damage. It's barely going to damage us. And then we're going to slap him around. I like it. In the turn, he buffs himself, and things like that. Does barely any damage to us. Oh, if we remove his block, but he's going to get his thorns. Well, we're going to add 1 to his thorns that he already has. But at least we do have a 4 to get out of this 4s. So let's spend that there. And I mustn't spend that one because I don't have any more 4s. Yeah, I am learning. I also don't have another 3. So that's gonna suck. Alright, well, let's smack him with that. Let's smack him with that. And then let's give myself some armor. And I don't think I can play this anyway. Alright. This guy's been some tricky games. So have been my silliness. Alright, so he got to hit me for a little bit there. I got my armor back. We're going to waste 2 damage here. But that's fine. Because we can now burn some armor there. And we can get some more armor there. But we don't have any 4s to go down here, unfortunately. And I don't want to give him more thorns. But that's fine. We got to slap him a little bit and we got some armor. So I think we're just going to absorb his attack. He's added the thorns to himself anyway. That can get quite nasty. Alright. Let's just give ourselves this. And we don't want to go past that, so I'm tempted to just give myself this health and some armor. Now if we go here, we can whack him for the damage there. And we beat him. And that's it. Alright. And now we get this lovely tile, so that will really max out well with our do damage. We can get thorns here, but this is the one that we want. So every time we play this, we'll start really maxing out the block, and that combined with our do damage equal to our block would be very, very nice. And we can either give ourselves extra 30 health, which would be wasted because we're only at 9 below our maximum, or we can add another bonus to the board, and I think it then gives us a choice of what kind of bonus starts appearing on the board. More block, which is probably what we want, another damage bonus, and a health bonus. Let's just get that more block, and then it'll combine nicely with our do damage with the number of block. And here's our next enemy, and it's another guy with thorns and stuff like that. And that's it. I'm going to stop the gameplay there. And I hope you have enjoyed watching it. And I hope I have inspired you to come and play this game, because it is a really, really good game. Yeah, and if you are just here for the gameplay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like if you liked the video, or dislike it if you disliked it. I mean, feel free. But either way, I wouldn't mind if you guys leave me a comment telling me why you liked it or why you disliked it, or whether you think I should be doing something differently, or something more, or something less. It's up to you. And if you then decide to subscribe so that you can see more gaming videos, I will love you forever. So yeah, thank you guys, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye. If, however, you are staying for the critiques, well, let's start at the beginning of our usual list. We have the UI, the volume here, yeah, quality of life, volume controls, full marks there. Well done, developer. I will say the tutorial wasn't bad as well when I went through it. I don't know if it felt really exciting or comfortable, but it did teach me how to play fairly quickly. So I would say I'll give you 4 marks for the tutorial, but it could be better. There were no bonus points there. I didn't feel like it dragged me into the game, and it gave me a good time. So yeah, a great tutorial, but it's something you need to consider. Remember that the first few minutes that a player plays your game is when the player sets his opinion of the game. So the better you can make just that initial experience, the more fun, the more compelling, the more immersive, then the better your game will do, the more fun the player will have, because he will be thinking positive things about your game, and he will have a lot of good times with the good stuff, and will ignore the bad stuff. So yeah, really make sure, like, tutorials and wherever a new player starts your game with is a really, you know, put more effort into it than into the rest of the game, because that's where the opinion is going to get set in. Obviously don't make the rest of the game bad, but you can get away with more things if your introduction to the game is amazing. Sounds are fine. I could do with them being a little bit more chunky, a little bit more visceral, but otherwise very, very nice, very, very comfortable. Good bass on some of the moves. Yeah, love the sounds. Art is great. It's sort of slightly surreal, slightly horror-esque. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but I like it. I like it a lot. I think the game looks good, and the gameplay is really, really well. I like this system of the dominoes. I think it works fantastically. I like the sort of the playing field. I like the layouts, the amount of information, everything is good. This gameplay, I think, is probably where this game really shines. It is very, very satisfying gameplay that looks good and plays well, and it's very easy to understand and things like that. I'm sorry, I just want to play this because it looks like a really, really... Oh, I should have played this one. Oh, that's fine. We can play it here. And we can play this one here. And we can play that. And we can play that. Now that was a good bollocking of the guy. I think we smacked the flames out of him and gave ourselves some advantages so that he can't do the same to us. Sorry, I just had to play that hand because it looked very satisfying as my brain ticked over in the background. Yeah, so the gameplay, the game feeling, I find this game deeply enjoyable, very, very satisfying to play. Difficulty is not too bad. Yeah, it's. I mean, I managed to get through my sort of second gameplay. I managed to get through and beat the guy at the end. Obviously, there's a fair amount of luck depending on what dominoes and buffs and things you get, but it was very, very enjoyable. So yeah, full marks plus bonus on the gameplay, which brings us to the final point, which is just the immersion. It would be nice. There really isn't much. I don't know who we are. I don't know why I have heads. I don't know what's going on in the storyline behind this game. It needs to be more information put into it here. What version does this say? Okay, it says it's in development rather than a prototype or anything like that. Made by Dogma 322. Yeah, he himself says it's Lovecraftian horror with monsters and things like that. I don't know if it's Lovecraftian, but there are certainly interestingly designed monsters with tentacles and stuff. So, I mean, it does go in that direction. And it's English and Russian. Does this mean this is a Russian developer? I don't know. I hope so. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, going back to the immersion, the point that I made is that there isn't much. I don't know who my character is. I don't know why we're fighting these monsters. I don't know why I have heads that I can swap out. There's a lot of effort here on the gameplay, but not much on the dragging the player in to make the player care about the game. And I think that's where a heavy focus needs to be. You know, write some story for your gameplay, write some background, write something that says why the player should care about this player character and fighting these monsters and things like that. Just because they're monsters, that's not good enough. People are a lot more sophisticated these days. So really put some reasoning in, some storyline, some lore, some emotional background, and make the player care about the player character and the game and the situation that's happening. Who are we defending these monsters from? What is the storyline here? Why are we fighting? Who are we? Like I said, why do we have exchangeable heads? What is going on here? But aside from that, incredibly good game, and I really do recommend coming to play this game, coming to enjoy it, coming to give the developer some love and some comments in the comment section. And that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.